sisters, welcome to our National Family Service. My name is Jennifer Pierce and I'll be your host today. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're so excited to have you here. We hope you will enjoy this morning with us as we share in the warmth and love of our community and catch the Spirit of God. As always, we invite you wherever you are to sing and clap along, laugh out loud, and even get up and dance if you're feeling moved. Let's open up and invite God into our hearts this morning. With that, let's kick it off with our opening song.
For our opening song today, we're excited to have back All the Above from the San Diego community. They'll be singing Gloria, a version of Angels We Have Heard on High. Let's welcome them up. Thank you for that opening song. For our opening prayer, let's join Mrs. Katarina Connery in Ridgewood, New Jersey, the Vice President of Women's Federation for World Peace, USA.
Good morning, everyone. Let us join together in prayer. Dear, most beloved Heavenly Parent, we're gathered here together as brothers and sisters across the world to really open our hearts, open our minds to your message, to your guidance today for this week and for our lives, guidance on how we can grow, how we can come closer to you, closer to our true parents, and also closer to each other. We're so grateful, Heavenly Parent, for all of your patience, all of your never-ending and steady love, waiting and waiting for all of us to open our minds to you and not just hear your voice and hear your messages, but also to respond. We're here today to say we're ready to respond. We're ready to not just praise you or love you, but also to attend to you and to even change any of our habits that might be holding us back from the glorious and beautiful life that you have planned for each and every one of us. We know, Heavenly Parent, that you have prepared a special message today through this sermon, through this whole service, and through this experience together. I pray each and every one of us can really see and hear and welcome you into our hearts and into our families, into our homes this morning. Please bless our speaker today. Please speak through him to all of us. I pray all these things in the name of Mike and Katrina Connery, a Blessed Central family. Adieu.
Good morning. Welcome to the National Family Service.
Our international community was founded by Father and Mother Moon, whom we call our true parents.
True parents have taken up the mission bestowed upon them by Jesus Christ to help us all reconnect and fortify our relationship with God through a deeper understanding called the Divine Principle, and by receiving the Holy Marriage Blessing.
To learn more about our community, just type #connect on the Facebook chat or sign the guest book on the nationalfamilyservice.org.
On our website, you'll find all the links you'll need for tithing, community meetups, kid resources, and more.
We'd love to hear your ideas and feedback at any time.
Just hit the send message button on our Facebook page to chat with one of our online ushers.
Thank you for joining us today. We can't wait to get connected with you.
Good morning again, everyone, and thank you for that beautiful song and prayer. Before we hear our main sermon this morning, we'd like to take this time to bring our offerings so we can continue to support our local communities with our tithes. To make your local tithes, visit nationalfamilyservice.org and click the drop-down button that says Local Church and go to Give, or type #tithe in the Facebook chat. While you're doing that, we hope you enjoy this beautiful Offertory song.
For our offering song today, we're going to Virginia to hear the beautiful father-daughter duo of the Takashima family performing the song Trust in You.
Letting go of every single dream, I lay each one down at your feet. Every moment of my wandering never changes what you see. I've tried to win this war, I confess. My hands are weary, I need your rest. Mighty warrior, king of the fight. No matter what I face, you're by my side. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. Truth is, you know what tomorrow brings. There's not a day ahead you have not seen. So in all things be my life and breath. I want what you want, Lord, and nothing less. When you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. When you don't part the waters, I wish I could walk through. When you don't give the answers as I cry out to you, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in you. I will trust in you.
Thank you, Takashima family from Virginia. What a beautiful song. And thank you to all of you who gave your tithes at this time. And now, it is my pleasure to welcome up Family Federation President in America, Naokimi Ushiroda. Welcome, Naokimi Oppa.
Good morning, brothers and sisters all around America. And for those who are watching internationally, welcome as well. So, yeah, I'd like to start today by recapping what we covered last week. So we started with really overseeing the overall vision of our community. HPHC stands for our Heavenly Parents Holy Community. And really, to make a long story short, our ultimate vision is about creating one family under God, our Heavenly Parent. As part of creating that kind of culture, the main thing is about learning how to practice these 4 great realms of heart. And last week, we covered the first of those, which was the children's realm of heart. Some of the things that we mentioned, or that I mentioned, was about creating, understanding our identity as children of God, and that the key to really feeling God's love is really learning to appreciate all the things that God has given us in our lives. So today, what I want to do is I want to go into our next realm of heart, which is the siblings realm of heart. I think this topic is quite relevant, particularly as we enter the holiday seasons. I remember just the other day, my wife reminding me that I need to start sending cards to everyone and gifts to my siblings. And I'm really not a gift person, so I really appreciate my wife for taking the initiative to do those things. But as we think about family and reconnecting and things like that, yeah, the relationships in our families comes top of mind. And I know that relationships in general are complicated. There's so much history. But today, I really want to focus on sharing about the beauty and power of this siblings realm of heart, that if we cultivate properly, then it can make a tremendous difference in our lives and in the lives of others. So what is the essence of the siblings realm of heart? It's a good question. What's the difference between siblings realm compared to all the different realms of heart? Well, let's turn to the Bible for an answer to this. It says in John 4:21, "And this commandment we have from him, whoever loves God must also love his brother." I think this statement is a kind of simplification of the 2 greatest commandments provided by Jesus. One, the first being to love God with all your heart, and the second being love your neighbor as you do yourself. So I think this is the basic concept of the siblings realm of heart, is about learning to love your neighbor, learning to love your siblings as God loves you. So that's great as a concept, but the question is, how do we actually practice this realm of heart? And what does that look like? Does it mean just, I don't know, high-fiving each other? Does it mean giving gifts? What does it look like to truly practice this siblings realm of heart? One key misconception I'd like to identify today is that typically when we think of brother-sister love or siblings realm, we think that it's primarily a horizontal relationship. If you see like my relationship with God as a more vertical relationship, then we tend to see, siblings realm is a horizontal relationship. But I want to actually challenge that concept and say that actually the siblings realm of heart, if you practice it properly, it starts with more of a vertical relationship. What do I mean by that? Let's go into some words from Father Moon. It says here, the older brother looks after and lives for the sake of his younger siblings in the same way that the parents love their children. Okay. So I'm going to repeat this. The older brother looks after and lives for the sake of his younger siblings in the same way that the parents love their children. So, yeah, this is interesting. It's basically saying that we learn to care for our younger siblings through watching our parents. So through observing our parents and how they take care of our brothers and sisters, that's how we actually learn to love our siblings. So the first aspect of being able to love your neighbor is actually first observing them from how your parents love them, your sibling, or how God sees your neighbor. Without that kind of perspective, it's really hard to love your brother or sister, or to love your neighbor. You know, I grew up in a family of 6. I'm the number 2. There was 4 brothers and then 2 sisters. So it's a big family. I guess for some cultures that's not so big, but in America, I know that 6 is pretty big. And my older brother, he was pretty strict. I think he got that from our dad. But he really took care of us. You know, he was the one who initiated, you know, we were not so well off, but I remember one thing he did was he would actually go to Chinatown, buy some bulk firecrackers, sell it individually to his friends, and then bring the leftovers home so that we could actually enjoy fireworks. And he would also be the one like buying snacks for us to watch Super Bowl together. And even, you know, take care of the family, you know, mortgage finances and things like that, because my parents were also immigrants and they didn't really know all the rules and laws. And so at a relatively young age, he had to take responsibility for that. And because he did that, I was able to just, you know, enjoy my childhood in one sense, because he was really shielding me from all of those other responsibilities. So I really want to take this time to just honor my elder brother for really being that kind of, yeah, almost parental figure for the rest of us siblings. I remember the way I dealt with my younger sisters. We used to play with dolls a lot. I would be a puppeteer and I would bring the dolls to life, and they would really enjoy playing together. Yeah, so yeah, this is just one key aspect, is how we learn to care for others is actually through observing our parents. Now let's go to the next segment. How about the younger siblings? The younger siblings practice true love by respecting and serving their older brothers and sisters just as they would serve and support their father or mother. So again, this is very interesting. It's just as the elders learn to care for their youngers by observing their parents, the vice versa is the same. The youngers learn to respect and serve their elders just as they do their parents. And one thing I want to mention here is kind of a Korean tradition where, I guess, where did I learn that from? I guess I had many opportunities to visit Korea. And in our community, some communities, we like to use this culture of addressing each other as hyung, nuna, oppa, or oni. And each of those are kind of terms that explain kind of a honorific term to define the relationship as elder brother, elder sister. And it's kind of this, you know, regardless of if you're in the same physical, biological family, as a community, as long as they're 1 year older than you, you would actually say, like, naokimi hyung or naokimi oppa, if you're a sister, as a way to kind of say, you are my elder, like that. And it's a beautiful culture. I think in some other cultures, like Filipino culture, they also have this term kuya, which means older brother. So I think in Eastern traditions, they have this sense of vertical honor and service to elders. Now, maybe in Western culture, it may not be as, you know, you got to kind of deserve respect, something like that. But I've experienced too that when the youngers just call me Oppa or Hyung, like I can't help but like want to take care of them more. Some of my younger, I mean, some of them take advantage of this. When they want money, they can come and say, "Oh, Hyunnim," and then they want some snacks or something. You can't help but want to give, and take care of them. So again, these two examples here are showing how the siblings' realm of heart actually starts with this vertical element of learning from our parents. However, there is a horizontal aspect of siblings' realm, which is just as important. Let's read. This is a perfection of sibling love. Each sibling nurtures the strengths and compensates for the weaknesses of the others. This realm of heart among brothers and sisters sharing the same blood is a love that no one can divide. I want to highlight this section. Each sibling nurtures the strengths and compensates for the weaknesses of the others. So I don't know about you, but my experience growing up is a little bit of the opposite. We tend to criticize each other's strengths and weaknesses, and even get jealous of each other. I remember being very competitive growing up. One time, I had gotten into a specialized school in New York City, and my brothers went to another school, was also a specialized school. You had to take a test to get in. And I was fine being in my school, but I had to take the test and get into the other school just to show that I could get in. That was the kind of like competitiveness that we had, that I had. And in one sense, I need to apologize to my younger brother. I think I was a little too competitive. He's also just as competitive as me. So, and this reminds me of an experience where I remember, and I shared this last week too, but I remember my parents always like kind of criticizing me and saying how I should be more like my brother and all the good points that my brother had. And I was getting so frustrated. And I remember sitting down with my brother saying, "Man, I don't know why Papa always talks about how good you are." And immediately my brother would turn to me and say, "What are you talking about? Every time I talk to Papa, he's always talking about how good you are." And so the light bulb went on, and I realized basically my dad was trying to help us to see the goodness or the strength of each of my siblings. So yeah, let's go to the next. Imagine, instead of criticizing, instead of getting jealous, what if we would, practice true siblings love? How would that make a difference in our life, in society, and the world, if we were to truly practice this? So here's a passage, continuing the same kind of message. Children living in a true family who perfect the brother and sister's realm of heart in the true love of God will go out into the world to lead lives as clear as crystal and as bright as a shining sun. This passage is particularly poetic, I think, and it's really the original ideal that we're all striving towards, that God as a parent wants us to experience. It continues on. When they meet people older than themselves, they will honor and serve them with the same heart that they would exhibit toward their own parents. So imagine serving and respecting your boss or other elders as you would your parents, at the workplace, at the marketplace, beyond your family, practicing the same level of heart in all relationships. The passage continues, they will show the same true love towards young people that they would towards their younger siblings, sharing with them and helping them, as a result, everyone will love them. Yeah, it makes sense, right? Imagine like mentoring and taking care of your colleagues or your peers or your friends, just as you would your younger siblings. Taking them out for meals or checking in on them to see how they're doing, maybe helping them with some kind of struggle or challenge that they're facing. Imagine doing that for those around you. Naturally, people will want to be with you. They would just love you because they're feeling so much love and care from you. The passage continues, they will be respected as owners of true love and heart. Though they may be young, they will become central persons, trusted and relied upon by people of all ages. This was from a speech by Father Moon on April 13, 2005. Yeah, I really think this is so beautiful. This is really a detailed version of how to practice the second great commandment from Jesus and the siblings' realm of heart. That if we were to really practice this sense of love, true siblings love, respecting our elders, caring for our youngers, honoring people's strengths, compensating for weaknesses, we will truly become central people and relied on from everyone. So, great idea, but if it's such a good idea, what's the problem? And then what's holding us back from actually experiencing that? Actually, I do want to go back one more slide, just one more example before I go into the problem. Yeah, one example of this is, I remember most of you know the former president, Damien Dunkley, and also the district pastor for New Jersey, Crescentia Degodi. But we used to really work very closely at headquarters. And, of course, we all have our unique characters, but in essence, Crescentia was very, brought the emotions, and I was more of the intellect, and Damien was like mostly will. And what I mean by that is, whenever there was some kind of idea or project, he would jump on it and he would just run with it. He'd be like, oh, I feel like we need to do a legacy tour. And it's like, oh, when? And he's already on the van doing like an 18-city tour, right? And I remember we would support each other. Sometimes myself and Damien wouldn't get along, and then Crescentia would, come to us and talk to each of us and help us understand each other's hearts and kind of help us to reconcile. Or sometimes Damien and Crescentia would misunderstand each other, or Crescentia feeling misunderstood, and I would come in and kind of objectively assess the situation and calm both sides down so that we can have a good conversation. And I could see how we were really supporting each other, encouraging our strengths and also compensating for any weaknesses we might have. So, this is what I think it looks like, that wherever we're working, whoever we're working with, when someone does well, instead of feeling jealous or criticizing them, to really celebrate with them, celebrate their victory, celebrate their promotion, celebrate, their achievement. And when you notice that someone's faltering or not doing as well as they should be, instead of snickering or kind of letting them fail, to really step up and cover for them. Maybe you can mentor them. Maybe you can help them with certain resources or help them get the support they need to do their job better. But that's the kind of culture true sibling heart is. And so, I want to really encourage everyone to consider what would that look like, practicing true sibling love in your life. Okay, so now let's go into the problem. So again, all this is great, lots of ideals, it would be great if we could all do this. But what's the problem? Let's read. This is a passage from Mother Moon. It is easy for siblings to quarrel among themselves when their parents are not present. The reason such struggles continue is because children do not always understand their parents' intentions. We can understand our parents' intentions only when we create a bond of heart with them in true love. This is from Mother Moon on August 12th, 2014. This is so true. I don't know if you, for those who've had children or who have kids, you know, sometimes it seems like as soon as you take your eyes off of them, they're fighting again, right? And it's almost like you have to really help each child to see, you know, learn how to share, you know, instead of criticizing or beating up their sibling, they should really, you know, take care of them or bring the problem to you first as the parent so that it can be resolved fairly. So it's very true is that in order for us children to not have conflict, it's essential that we have parental figures that can help resolve those conflicts with the right kind of heart. I think that's the biggest challenge we face today is that, you know, we have different cultures, communities, nations, ethnicities at war with each other, you know, divided, conflicted. And I think it's because there isn't a parental figure that really can help them all feel equally loved. And I believe this is kind of where Mother and Father Moon come into play, is really to stand in a role as we refer to them endearingly as our true parents, because they've really invested in all people, in caring for people from all different nations. I mean, you name it, they've been to every country multiple times over. I don't know of anybody else who's done that, you know, multiple global tours, really investing through their teachings, through the blessing, you know, through the marriage blessing, and yeah, just pouring out their heart and soul and helping people to connect to God as a parental figure. So, you know, I want to briefly go over this history. Jesus appeared to Father Moon and tasked him with having all humanity fulfill the 2 great commandments and build a substantial kingdom of heaven on earth. So, you know, Jesus came, he really set the example as the Son of God, really with the highest quality of love, even being able to love his enemies that were torturing him. He did that, but the challenge was the kingdom of heaven still did not appear on earth because people were still fighting each other. So Jesus actually approached Father Moon and asked him, can you make this a reality on earth? So Father Moon had to really think, how can all the humanity come to understand God? And how could all of humanity come to relate to each other as one family? That was the challenge. So, you know, Father Moon, and this is a really abbreviated course, but Father Moon went through so many trials. And this is just one image or one example where he even went to North Korea to visit and embrace Kim Il-sung, who 2 attempts tried to kill Father Moon. But despite that threat, despite knowing that he's putting his life in danger, you know, Father and Mother Moon went to North Korea, boldly said that they disagree with the communist perspective that God does not exist, and yet also at the same time honored Kim Il-sung, offered him, loved him as God would, and kind of, I don't know how to say this, but like, you know, even offering our resources to support the people of North Korea, really setting an example of loving one's enemy. And Father and Mother Moon continued the mission to connect humanity to God and build the kingdom of heaven through not only teaching these principles of these realms of heart and, you know, God's heart, but also through the marriage blessing. You know, one of the things that they encouraged so much was to marry beyond your nation and culture. And I remember so many stories hearing from my parents' generation that many of them were encouraged even to marry people from nations which were sworn enemies to each other. You know, Japan, America, there were black and white, Jewish, German, like the craziest, you know, combinations you could think of. They would be encouraged to go beyond those borders, those historical enemy nation borders, and so much suffering and pain, to go beyond that by loving each other and setting an example where their children could represent the unity and harmony of those two conflicting peoples. You know, that is the vision behind this cross-cultural marriage blessing. And so really, Father and Mother Moon, they have been exemplary in living this life of helping humanity connect to God as a parent, and also to help humanity substantially love each other as one family. And I'd like to end with this experience. I remember in Korea one time, there was this cultural performances where we had 6 continents, the youth of 6 continents perform to show their kind of filial heart towards God and towards our beloved true parents. And we had like Japan, we had Korea do their thing, we had South American performance. Each of them were so different, but they had the same heart of joy and filial piety. And I just felt like, wow, if these youth are going to be the leaders of their nations in the future, world peace is possible. That's what I really felt to the bottom of my heart, that this is the hope for the future, that these youth are going to be the substantial representation of people living beyond borders. And through our beloved true parents standing in the parental realm, everyone really honoring and respecting them as their parents, this is what's going to substantially create peace on earth. So just to recap, here are some tips, 3 tips to developing your siblings' realm of heart. First step is respect and serve your elders as you would your parents. Number 2 is care and love your youngers as parents would or as God would. And number 3 is to really honor and acknowledge each other's victories or strengths, and support or compensate for other people's weaknesses. And finally, all of this, keep in mind that we do this because we really want to bring joy to God by being a true sibling. You know, if you think about, you know, God being a parent to all of humanity, how much pain would it cause for us, you know, fighting each other, you know, or even killing each other? And even worse, you know, imagine your children killing each other in your name, right? That's the kind of suffering that God has been through, and that Father and Mother Moon has tried to liberate by bringing all of humanity together. So let us develop this children's realm of heart to experience this divine love and share that with others. And that way we can bring joy to God, our Heavenly Parent, and substantially work towards building the kingdom of heaven here on earth. So with that, I'd like to leave you with a reflection question. How can I grow my siblings' realm of heart this week? And of course, I'd like to offer a challenge. Please try to express appreciation to and or serve 3 siblings or friends this week, and watch an episode of Morning Devotion on God's Heart with someone this week. That's a wrap for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Naokimi Oppa. That was so great. I just want to concur. The first thing I learned when I went to Korea was how to manipulate older brothers by saying Naokimi Oppa. So thank you so much for this message this morning. At this time, I'd like to take a moment with everyone to reflect on the question Naokimi Oppa asked us today. How can I grow my siblings' realm of heart this week? We're going to take a minute. Thank you, brothers and sisters. At this time, I'd like to invite up some special guests to hear some live reflections about our sermon today. I'd like to invite up Reverend and Mrs. Jackson, directors of the Southwest region, and my dear sister, Sunmi Iwasaki, to join me in sharing this time. I actually wanted to start by saying something myself. Actually, I am an only child, but because of this beautiful community that we have, I was able to experience this deep siblings love, and it's because of True Parents and the community they created. So I'm really grateful to all of my aunties and uncles and my brothers and sisters for making that possible for me. So I'm really grateful for that. So yes, how about you, Reverend Jackson? What came up for you today and this morning?
Oh my gosh, thank you, Naokimi. Such a wonderful message today. What came up for me was watching my father as a young man. My dad, he was the eldest of 7 children. And as I was growing up, I watched my dad. He was a general contractor, and he used to hire all of his siblings or their husbands or their wives even for everything. And he supported the family that way. So really amazing. I learned so much from that. And when I came back home, today is actually the day my little brother Mark passed away on this date. Oh my gosh, in 2008. So I was thinking about him. When I came back home to Arkansas, I was able to spend time with my little brother, who was a quadriplegic. And I was able to be there, not just be there around, but I was able to live near him and take care of him a little bit and be there as an older brother. He actually joined our church, and he would come in his wheelchair and roll into the church, and it was so beautiful to see him. And then just being able to do that and take time with him, it was really, I felt, one of the amazing blessings that True Parents gave us. I learned from father and mother. So I watched father also do the same thing. He didn't just call 3 couples and then 36 couples. He took care of them. He loved them. He poured everything into them. And those 3 things were kind of coming to my mind today, how my father, my physical father, took care of his siblings, how I was able to spend time with my brother before he passed and take care of him too. And then I remembered father's care for all these our elders now that he personally invested in. Just great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Does Mrs. Jackson want to share anything?
Thank you. And I think about my sibling. I have only one sister. I'm thinking my love towards her is really kind of shallow. I just talked to my husband. I really send a Christmas gift as soon as possible. Thank you, Naokimi-san. Thank you.
Thank you. How about you, Sunmi? Any experience that comes up for you when connecting with siblings love?
Yeah, I was trying to think about who to talk about because I'm one of seven, actually. I have like two older brothers and two younger sisters and then two younger brothers. I'm the third one. So I guess like I've always been that like little third wheel. Like I don't want to say I'm a third wheel, but I would always, I would get along with like my older siblings to a certain extent. And then with my younger sisters, I'll get along with them to a certain extent. And then with my youngest two, I'll get along with them to a certain extent. And what came up for me, definitely like, yeah, gratitude for sure for my older siblings for how they stepped up. I could relate with what Naokimi was saying, President Naokimi, when he was talking about how his older sibling like stepped up. I feel like that's what my oldest brother did. I just didn't see it until like recently. But I think today, yeah, I think in the siblings, the more siblings you have, I feel like the more we end up competing for our parents' love. Like the parents don't always see it. Okay, maybe they do. But to the parents, right, they have like, all these different children. And to them, like, this is a concept that I'm still trying to understand, that the love that the parents give to each child is so unique and so different. Right. I think I get the most jealous when my younger sisters are home. If they're watching this, oh my gosh, I'm like exposing myself. But because I see a different kind of love that my parents give to them than the kind of love they give to me. So I get jealous. I didn't know until like this past year, because our siblings kind of travel a lot, all of us at different times. So some of us are home at different times and when the others are away. But this past summer, all of my sisters were home and I was like getting jealous over the smallest things. And I realized that I always had this tendency to compare how my parents would love me versus my younger sister. But to my parents, like they love me uniquely too. And then my parents love her uniquely. But I saw how she could tap into a different kind of like a mother and father's aspect than that I've never been able to tap into. So like I was like, dang, like she has like a different relationship than I'll almost think like, oh, she has a better relationship with my parents than I do. But then I think it's really good that kids want their parents' love, because it really makes the children wonder and ponder what brings our parents joy, or what makes them happy, or like what can make them, love me more. So I think we become like good kids because we just we want more love. But another thing that came up for me, just last thing, is that specifically, yeah, with like my younger sisters too, I think there's a part of me that wants to, as an older sibling, I think I want to work on that more, of seeing and caring for my younger siblings from like a parental perspective, because I think I owe them an apology too, in the sense that there was one time where my younger sisters were like, or one of them in particular was, oh, I really respect their older brother, la 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 la, and I got jealous again, right? And to me, in my mind, I was like, oh, you don't know, like, you only see like their good parts, So I feel like a part of me kind of like wanted to like pop that bubble for her. And I was like, oh, you don't know everything that they've done. Oh man, like I was like showing this disappointment. And that was what was coming up for me. I was like, honestly, like a parent wouldn't do that to your children. Like if someone in the parental figure wouldn't try to like make the younger person's trust, or like misuse their trust, or like dissuade them, or like make them lose trust in their older siblings. Like I'm talking about like they're my older siblings too. So I was like in the middle ground, be like, oh, you don't know all about them, my younger sister, oh my gosh. So I feel like, she's fine now. She like respects them, loves them. She's gone on her whole own journey too. But I feel like there was a period in her life where she kind of like lost trust in them. And I feel like I played a role in that. So I think this week I want to have like a apologetic and a mindful heart towards my siblings. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunmi. As you can see, having sibling love is an evolving process as we grow with them. Thank you for your beautiful experiences and sharing that with us this morning. It was a great discussion. Before we close, I'd like to remind ourselves of the challenge of the week. How are you enjoying the challenges, everyone? I hope you are. Actually, from our comments, Donette Conan wrote that she's looking forward to another set of homework and that she had a great time doing the homework last week. And the people she called were very touched and moved and very inspired. So now, Kimiopo, your homework is working. So this week we have a new challenge. The first one being express appreciation to and or serve 3 siblings or friends this week. And then also watch an episode of Morning Devotion on God's Heart with someone this week. And as we complete this challenge together, we'd like to hear your stories. Please share your stories of how you're completing this challenge to the Family Fed Facebook page. And who knows, we may feature your story next week on our National Family Service. Thank you so much. This was an exciting sermon, and I'm looking forward to completing the challenge myself. At this time, I'd like to invite up our closing prayer.
Let's head over to North Dakota to join Mrs. Cindy Pfeiffer, State Coordinator and Heavenly Tribal Messiah.
Well, let's have our closing prayer. Dearest Heavenly Parent, we learn so many valuable things each week as you try to guide us with the original plan you had when you created us. One was our parental love that we learned about, and this week we're learning about siblings' love, how wide and how broad that could be, that as we learn to love our siblings and see its challenges, we can expand this to the society and those around us. And we can see that you created us, that we treat all humankind as our brothers and sisters, as your sons and daughters. And we were reminded from Dr. Young this morning how your heart is when your children are far from you and when you long for them and you miss them. And in the same way this week, we take the challenge to reach out to 3 people that we can long for, that we can miss, and that we can offer to you. So thank you for this week's lesson, and we offer you this in the name of all the couples here, and Jürgen and Cindy Pfeiffer. Bless Central Family. Adieu. Amen.
And for our closing song, we're featuring a special international project all the way from YSP Samoa, an original song by Youngkwan Swafa, and collaboration between several American singers. This song is called The Journey Is Mine, written to encourage young people all around the world.
Ship and we're sailing slowly, brighter days ahead, but it's getting lonely. Oh, no better place to go. Hey there, judge on wrong. Now is the time for sharing love. So home is where the hope is for us. In these times of misery, let's fall in love. So go back to the origin to find faith in us. It's written in the stars. Hey, run, the day is near for original things to disappear. We're just getting started. Follow where God's heart is. Back home where we belong. Running for the future and staying strong. Look at what we've started. The journey to God's heart is mine. Hear the words of Mother Moon. Now is the time for headed in the cause now for us. In these times of misery, it's hard to find love. Let's go back to the origin to find it within us. It's written in the stars. Here the day is near for original sin to disappear. We're just getting started. Follow where God's heart is. Back home where we belong. Fighting for the future and staying strong. Look at what we've started. The journey to God's heart is long. Journey is long. Hey world, the day is near for original sins will disappear. Look at what we've started. The journey to God's heart is long.
Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, we hope you can join in your community meetups right after this service. To find an online meetup near you, visit nationalfamilyservice.org and click on local church to get to local meetups. If you've enjoyed this experience with us today, we'd love your support. You can type #coffee in the Facebook chat or visit nationalfamilyservice.org and click the Give a Coffee button to support this ministry for the price of a cup of coffee. Brothers and sisters, thank you so much for spending your Sunday morning together with us. As you know, next week is right before Christmas, so we'll have a very special Christmas celebration next week. So please join us and come back. Thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday here at the National Family Service. Bye, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining today.
Thank you.
Unity
Sound